Hello and welcome to the second episode of the SaintsPrime Podcast with me, OllIe,
Harry,
and
Mikey.
Brilliant. Hey. So I thought, first off, I'm going to start with a little quiz. I've probably already shown the answers to Harry. Have you seen it?
No,
okay, that's fine. I'll give you 4 players. I want you to order from lowest to highest their goals and assists throughout the whole competition.
What, all competitions?
Combined.
This season?
Yeah, so Matt Target has got 1 goal and 3 assists, I believe. So that'd be 4. He's not down here. That is just my knowledge of the
Southampton left backs.
Or it was someone I was going to pick.
I think he's got more assists than Ozil this season.
Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Right. Player number 1, Shane Long. Get Mikey's attention straight away.
Top of the list. There you go.
Number 2, James Ward-Prowse. Mm-hmm. Charlie Austin, Nathan Redmond. What do you reckon?
What are the 4 players? Charlie Austin.
Oh my god.
Charlie Austin, Shane Long, Nathan Redmond.
Long, Austin, Redmond, Ward-Prowse.
There you go.
Order of those ones.
Austin the bottom, because he's not really done much, I'd say.
Okay.
But I bet he's thrown in that sort of curve one. I'm not going to give eye contacts, because I know it's going to make me laugh.
Right.
So Charlie Austin at the bottom.
Yeah.
Shane Long's probably second bottom, just because didn't have a great start to the season.
Careful.
I do feel physically intimidated right now.
I'm fine with that. It's your opinion.
I'd say Ward-Prowse second, and Nathan Redmond has the most goal contributions.
Okay, Mike.
I'll go Redmond, Long, Ward-Prowse, Austin.
Okay. Interesting. Right.
What are you going to go
I
for?
don't think Prowse.
Well, obviously I know the answer, but I'll tell you the answer at the end. So we'll keep that in the air.
It's like eggheads.
How on earth is it like
Because
eggheads?
they ask the question at the start,
Yeah.
and then they let the audience think. And then at the end,
Yeah.
they give the answer that no one cares about.
You need to start watching
Everyone
daytime
forgot.
telly, mate. Should we move on to some questions that have been asked?
I prefer
Should go to
pointless.
college.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a question from Jamie who said if you have to get rid of 1 podcast member, well, it's been Jamie. He's had to run off quickly, and I'm stuck in recording. So if it sounds bad, that's his fault. So if we had to get rid of 1 member, it'd be you, Jamie, because you're not here.
No, I'll say Mikey.
Cheers, man.
So we've got a question from Patrick Fish. If you guys can stop bickering, he says signing you want to see, Mikey.
Just to annoy Lauchi, Mitrovic. I want to see Mitrovic come in. I think he could be a quality striker up top.
Yeah.
Something we need.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We were talking about this morning. If we want to see Mitrovic, I'd happily see him down at St Mary's. I think the amount of goals and assists he got for Fulham this year in an underperforming Fulham side proves what quality he's got. Harry?
Well, just before we move on there, questionable work rates. Do you not worry about that in a Ralph system?
I think in a Hasenhüttl system, I think that if we stick with the same 3 at the back system, I don't think Mitrovic's work rates were that bad. I think he's quite a hard working striker in all fairness, and you can tell that by the aggression that he has on the pitch. And when he played against us down at St Mary's, he was probably their best player out there.
Yeah,
by a mile.
30 million though, would you be?
Is that the asking price, or is that our bid?
Whatever it takes to bring quality in, I don't care about the price tag.
Yeah, I think we've skimped on strikers before and paid the price for it. I think we haven't had a good history of signing expensive players, but if we have to do that, I mean, you've seen it this year. Richarlison, Felipe Anderson, those big money signings have actually paid off this year. I think that's the kind of league we're in. I think that's.
For me, anyone from Celtic, because we haven't had a bad player from there. Maybe James Forrest, that might be quite unattainable, but he's proven that he's quite good. I think he got player of the season in Scotland, or maybe Derek Boyata? I think he's in the last year of his contracts. So if he is a free signing, he might be. I'm not too sure. That'd be a good one to pick up. Maybe a backup centre back, but that means we can get rid of the other deadwood centre backs that we have. Yeah.
Ryan's asked on one of the questions, just Tom Roderick with a question mark. Would you guys be interested in that?
Celtic player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't follow the Scottish.
No, I don't really.
I've got no idea how well he's done, but it's just another player in the bag, really.
Yes, I think he could do a job.
15 million.
If he's the same as Stuart Armstrong, that's fine.
And Josh Allen's asked, does Buffo have a future at Saints, Harry?
if Ralph can change his work rates, then yes. If not, out the door. But everyone needs to be given a chance in the pre-season. And if he changes his work rates, I'll happily welcome him back. Him and Resman on the wings could be very potent if Resman wants to be on the wing.
Yeah, I think Buffon, he's obviously got the talent, it's where he wants to use it. I think if anyone can bring out that attacking and defensive work rates, I think Hassan Hutel can do it. If not, he hasn't got the work rates to actually perform, and I think we need to have a look at getting rid of him if he doesn't work.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mikey?
If he's willing to adapt.
Yeah,
definitely. That's about it.
And final question comes from It's Jamie 2002. Where can I find the podcast? Well, if you're listening, you found the podcast. There we go.
I think we didn't link the first one. You can find it on YouTube. SaintsPrime Podcast. SaintsPrime, one word. Second word, podcast.
Yeah, and if you do like it, make sure you give a like, subscribe to not miss anything, and share it with everyone.
Comment as well, because we'll answer questions on
We're
there.
always happy to answer comments.
All of that.
So, answer some questions. What should we look at? West Ham game?
West Ham game. We'll go.
I mean, don't really want to look at it.
Well, I watched it at the game.
All its glory.
I was not pleased, to put it.
Say the least.
Yeah, exactly. It was interesting for what we decided to make that game. As soon as I saw the team news, I obviously saw it was a early pre-season, and I think that starting 11, it was clearly not strong enough for that West Ham team who had just come off a good win against Tottenham. I think we were, I don't know if it was Hassan Hutel almost making a statement saying...
Shot window.
Yeah, well, shot window, and in fact almost saying to the board, this is my backup, they're not going to be good enough. So it depends if he was actually putting faith in them or just saying... These are the people that need to go, because there was clearly mistakes in that game that I saw firsthand that I think weren't good enough, and I don't know whether he put too much faith in or if it was just him saying that this isn't good enough.
Do you think he made? Well, you said a bit there, but do you think he made too many changes due to the fact they kind of disrespected the away fans that went all that way, spent all that money, and so we'll just watch us get slapped?
Yeah, definitely. You have players in there that it was a good chance to rotate the team, but I think the actual performance that came out of it wasn't up to scratch. I mean, Forster clearly not match ready. There was easy mistakes, basic mistakes that weren't being followed. There's a couple of good saves that were close to him. However, again, his downfall, getting down, using his feet, making himself look big.
He's strange for a 6'7".
Yeah, thinking that. I mean,
match sharpness.
Yeah, definitely. Stevens looked worrying every time he's not. I know he wasn't a change, but I still think Stevens at that centre back isn't sturdy. Every time he gets on the ball, he's got the capabilities to play the ball out from the back, but it seems like he's shaky every time he picks it up. I was a bit worried every time he'd open his body out, and there was a couple of times he would make mistakes by holding the ball too long, not releasing the ball, or releasing it at the wrong time. And I think that overall performance was one to forget.
So me and Mikey were in a call listening to the game with Dave Merrington talking in our ears, and I don't know if I was the same with you. I had hope that we'd get into it, but not much faith, because the team that we selected didn't have a lot of attacking quality, with Ellie Nusi. Ings and Long have shown themselves to be alright, but it's just the fact that the group of players hadn't played as a collective before, with Ellie Nusi, Forster, and all the other changes that we seem to make. None of them really seem to gel.
Yeah, I don't think Ings looked fit. When I watched him, his pressing that he's... Sorry to cut you off. One thing that we've always seen from Ings is getting his head down and working hard. And you think away from home, him and Shane Long would be brilliant at closing that ball down. But you kind of realise that it wasn't... Ings looked very, very tired. You know, when there was a break in play, he was breathing heavy. And I think I think it's good that he's back from injury, but I think he's still not fit, to play that pressing style of football.
I'll also say it's a changing formation. Like arguably in the Bournemouth game, we played so much better with the three at the back, even with Ryan Bertrand at centre back. It worked so much better. The team looked so much more comfortable, and it just looked playing that 4-2-2-2 that the team just weren't adapted for it.
No.
And I mean, Hasenhuttl was trying to adapt to his system and the way that he wants to play, but it's almost like it's too early, that they do need a summer to learn the system, get properly adapted to the system.
Yeah, definitely.
And hopefully it will work.
Yeah.
He needs to bring his own players to play that system as well, because there's not a lot of players that seem like you said, confident, but that might be because they haven't played that system much. I'd say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Play the same formation at least till the end of the season, and then buy the players that you want that can play in that 4-back formation, because I don't think we've got any centre backs that are that competent as playing as a 2. Get that whole pre-season, because that'll give them game time to get used to it. New signings, that's what I feel. But
don't you think these 2 games could provide an extra long pre-season, or would you rather just get this season out of the way?
True, but the players that we played, I know the point that you made still stands, but it's the fact of the players that actually played in that game probably won't be here to play that formation. If you look at Forster, probably won't start. Elianusi, I want to give everyone a chance, but he hasn't adapted to the Premier League yet. And all the players that seem to start, most of them anyway, squad players rather than the ones that are going to start using that system.
I would also say that I know this is it's in some context, but when Leicester won the title, you look at the run of results that they had at the end of the season. I think they went like 10 games unbeaten or something like that, and that helped them bounce into the next season. Yeah. If we end the season with like no wins in our last 5 or something like that, then that will carry on to next season with the same mentality, and it will be harder starting. Like we already start really poorly in the league every year. And this time it'll just be the same.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it would be nice to pick up a nice run of form near the end of the season. Basically, give those fans what they want to see: goals scored and good games. I also made a prediction that Arnautovic was going to break his run of not scoring against us, and he went and got 2. So that was probably the one prediction I didn't want to see come true, and it did, which is typical Saints. And
yes. So one game that we do have left, Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Final game of the season, Sunday afternoon. I think one of our most recent Sunday games. I've won in ages. How do you see that one going? What team do you think we're going to select? All of that.
I am terrified because it seems like you look at Huddersfield. They got their draw against Man United, which was incredible for them, and also hilarious for United. But you get the sense that this is their last hurrah. This is probably, I mean, I hope they return to the Premier League, but you think this is probably it. It's quite a small club. They don't have a lot of financial backing. The chairman's leaving now. So it seems like that they're going to have a complete reset, and it'll be like another 10, 15 years until they probably get another chance of getting back in the league. So this will be their last hurrah. These players probably won't play Premier League football again. So
some of them will, but it's not Huddersfield. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't say that the Huddersfield team have enough quality.
Is there any players from the Huddersfield team that you would want to see picked up? Like we talked about Mitrovic, who's obviously going down.
Not for Saints, but I can see someone picking up Lursel, their goalkeeper. Yeah. Christopher Schindler's done quite well, and there's a couple other players like Alex Pritchard. He came from Norwich, and he's done all right. But like he says, that no one's shone themselves in glory.
The only one that I'd say could be seen getting a move is Aaron Moy.
But very true.
He's been injured for the last season, hasn't really been a good run of form. So you just never know, and he might stick with Huddersfield because he does seem like that type of character. But,
But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's their last hurrah, so they're going to really have a go. And from the last performance that we had, it sort of seemed, I know we had changes like we just talked about, that we're kind of on the beach. Not totally, but kind of on the beach. So I'm hoping he's going to field a full strength side. He has to, in my opinion, in front of a home crowd. Yeah. Hopefully for me as well, because it's probably going to be one of my last games. So I hope I see a victory. Yeah. But it's not going to be easy. I know they're last, but they've been battling well recently.
Yeah, I think, especially if you're going to have your lap of appreciation at the end of the game, you want to end it on a win, don't you?
You don't want to do like Arsenal did.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing, to go back to the West Ham game, I think we kind of didn't think about the fact that was their last home game. Yeah. They weren't exactly going to be on the beach, they wanted to win as well, like we were wanting a win against Huddersfield as that last kind of send-off towards the season, so I think that's one thing we kind of underestimated as well. But yeah, I think Huddersfield will be a good game. They'll allow us to play the ball, they'll sit back deep, and hopefully we can try and get a couple of goals. That'd be nice.
That's another thing that I'm worried about, is that Huddersfield will just sit deep,
Yeah.
and we've shown that we struggle trying to break down teams when we've got the ball, because technically we aren't a great side. You look at basically one of our creative sparks in our team, Imperial Højbjerg.
Right.
And, I mean, I love him, but he gets really giddy on that ball, and he doesn't always make the right decision. So
Yeah.
I can see us struggling to try and break Huddersfield down, and then they'll get one chance on the breakaway and score like they usually do.
So you're looking forward to the game then, Mike?
I am looking forward to the game. It'll be a nice day out. Hopefully it'll be sunny.
I think fans will be in good spirits as well. I think they'll try and get behind the team. I think that we've always had a good feeling last game of the season, so I think there won't be any of that kind of anxiety. I think there will just be a lot of sports between players. Hopefully it's a good lineup.
The good thing is that both teams, they've got nothing to play for, so hopefully it'll be
nothing
an
to lose.
entertaining game.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Huddersfield have tried to attack in their recent games as well against the big teams, so it could go either way. If they don't want to lose their last game of the season, or they want to have an impressive performance for their fans the last day. So, score predictions. What do you think will happen?
3-1.
So
I think
us?
Saints. Yeah, I'll go for it. Go for it. Hopefully that is actually what happens. I think we can get a couple of goals against them. Hopefully we've got a good run of scoring early, and I'm hoping we'll see us build on that lead rather than sitting back, because we don't have to. If they go and score a goal, I think we have the ability in ourselves to go and attack them again. I think what happened with Bournemouth, we could have attacked them again, or we held back to keep ourselves in the league. I think we won't see that anymore. I think we'll get that goal, and we'll go again for the second, go again for the third. They get a consolation, I think we can do it. I think we can get a comfortable win, I'm hoping.
Hope so.
Yeah. Mikey?
1-0 really shaky. You're really shaky, and Long will come up with a goal.
That's a surprise, isn't it?
He'll score and then he'll miss a sitter.
Player 1-2s with the post.
Right, 2-0. We're going to switch back to our usual formation. We're going to attack.
Yeah.
We'll defend against Huddersfield because they've scored 20 goals all season. I think 50% of them, well, probably about 48% now after the Huddersfield game, have came from corners. So as long as we can defend against those, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Do you want to see 5 at the back then when you say original?
I'd say the formation that we played against all teams bar West Ham, because we did all right with that, and it's not really too defensive either, because we'll have our fullbacks pushing on as far as possible. So I'd be happy to see that again, because we do well with it recently.
Nice.
I'd also say it's more stable than the 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, that's true.
It gives the attackers a little bit more freedom, even though there's not as many of them up there. You get that little bit more freedom because of the extra man just sitting back. It should be. Hopefully you'll see Redmond scoring. I hope it's not 1-0. I hope it's like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the pessimistic side of me.
It's got to be wary.
No, talking about Nathan Redmond, should we move on to the Saints Awards? Obviously, last week we made our predictions on who we think we're going to win. So, fans player of the season was Nathan Redmond.
Yep.
I went for Højbjerg. You went for
Valerie.
Redmond. I think I went, Redmond for all of them. I think
that's
proud.
So, you got that one right.
Yes.
Do you think he deserved that? I mean, he's obviously, without trying to spoil the game at the end, he's been very important in our attacking play. He's obviously got a few goals, links up with the assist as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it just showed his importance when he came off the bench against West Ham. We looked alive again. Like in the first half, we were dead, and you just saw Redmond come off the bench. We looked a better team with him. So that just shows his importance, which is fantastic to see after the season that he had last year. It's nice to see him turn it around. And actually get better, and also he's been good for the whole season. It's not like under Hasenhüttl he sparked. He did really well, but even under Hughes, he still made a difference, even though he didn't contribute. He still was more direct, more attacking, and it was nice to see that he'd got his confidence back.
Yeah, you could definitely see between the 2 seasons he'd been working on running at those defenders, because that was something he was trying, didn't come off last season. This season definitely being direct, and we've seen him take on players. And I think that confidence he's got every single time has been really good for him. You take that player on early, get past him, get into the box. Finishing's probably not been the best, but he's still got the goals from it, and I think he's really done well this season.
And one more going.
I think at the start of the Haas-neutral reign, against those 2 games against Derby, even though he didn't go through somehow, he lit the game up when he played against Derby. First leg, he obviously scored one of the goals of the season, as it was showed in the awards, and also in the home leg when I think he got subbed on. And he scored that goal to put us 1-0 up. It might have been 2-0 up. And I think he's been our key man. And the optimistic fans, because there's a lot of people behind me that aren't that excited when Revan gets on the ball. You know he's going to drive at people. He's not going to play a backwards boring pass every single time. He's going to go at them, and that's what's exciting.
Yeah, I think that was the one reason why I didn't think he was going to be fans player, just because some people still have that kind of thing in the back of their mind that he's going to give the ball away like last season. So that's the only reason I didn't go for him as fans. But he got players player as well. One that I did expect, because I think he definitely should have walked out of the awards with at least one, because he's obviously been so impactful for our season. So I got that one right. Who did you go for players player?
Players player, I think I went for
Revan as well.
Yeah, it was Højbjerg I went for.
You went for Højbjerg, okay.
Yeah.
So 0 for 2 for Mikey.
I got none of them right.
Yeah.
Understandable though, because he's that
definitely.
leader of the dressing room. It's not like you went for Shane Long for players player this season.
Could have been.
Yeah, surprising. And I think he's Højbjerg's definitely stepped up in his season. I think there are a couple of maturity, yellow cards, the red cards has probably let him down a little bit.
But it has seemed like the players that have been sent off this year, like Højbjerg and Valerie, that after the sending off, they've matured, got better, and they've learnt from it, which is good to see.
And last season, Højbjerg, I love him, but it was just that passion. I'm not saying he didn't have quality, but this season he's added goals as well to his game. Not that many, but he has added goals. He's added a bit extra quality as well, and that's why I wouldn't have been surprised if I seen him win it. But it was Redmond's, and I think that was the right choice.
Yeah, I think he did do well. So our academy player of the season was Will Ferry. Now I can admit I haven't seen too much of our academy this year. Harry, any thoughts?
I've seen a couple of games. I thought it was a bit interesting that I think it was the presenter said we got him from an elite club when we got him from Bury. And I thought that was an interesting remark. I think he's made 12, I think they said 12 appearances. Like I said, I've not seen too many. I thought Will Smallbone would get it because he's been elected as one of the best players in the Premier League 2 this season. Like you said, I've only seen a couple of games, the ones that went down at St Mary's, and a couple of live stream ones here or there. So I haven't seen too much. I thought it would be Will Smallbone, but Will Ferry, he seems like he's progressed well. And considering the first team in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. I haven't watched too much under the freeze. Mikey, anything on that?
I think the reason why he got it is because he is just so young and he's playing really well in the under-23s. I think he's 17, 18, which is horrific to think about because that's how old I am. But, it's great to see the youth just developing and doing really well in the league as well.
Yeah, it's another youth player.
The final as well. Sorry to interrupt. The final of the playoffs on Monday against Newcastle. Free entry. Go down to support the young players.
What time does it start?
7. I think it might not be, but all the other ones happen at 7. So I think it's there.
So yeah, talking about youth players, Jan Valerie got goal of the season against Man United. I saw that personally,
lucky,
that was one hell of a goal. We didn't actually talk about goal of the season last.
Completely forgot.
No. Who was your guys? Was it Valerie or was it any other ones?
Oh, so just because of what it meant, Prowsey's free kick against Tottenham.
Yeah, that would have been mine.
It was just, I've never heard a roar around the ground like it.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to see, and just how big it was in our season to get those 3 points.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think Cardiff won that weekend, Burnley won that weekend, and it was really important for us to get points. And
because he had obviously the spectacular goal. Or Prowse getting it again, like he did it at Man United. Can he do it again? Yes, he can. And the actual importance of the results. I think that's what swung it for me. If I was going to vote, that's what it would have been.
It's tight. Jan Valerie, David De Gea's front post, was the start of David De Gea's drop in confidence. So I think I would have went for Valerie, but I really like Nathan Redmond's goal against Derby, the way he just cut in, just whipped it round the defenders into the bottom goalkeeper, and Roos, I think the goalkeeper name for Derby, didn't even dive for it. So I was a fan of that goal, and also I liked it because I was there, so that added a bit of extra.
I think we were all there, weren't we?
Derby.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mikey wasn't there.
No,
he was there for the show no one though. That was still there.
Yeah,
and that was important to our season as well.
Yeah. So President's Choice, James Ward-Prowse. I think
Yeah,
I said that.
Obvious choice. That.
Who did you say? Did you go?
I think I went Valerie.
Valerie.
Okay.
I when you said Ward-Prowse, I'm going to say this. I said Devil's Advocate Jan Valerie. So
okay.
I'm saying I went for Ward-Prowse.
Technicality,
you're wrong.
On a technicality, you can say Jan.
Okay,
Valerie.
right, technicality. But yeah, I think.
Or you can just say that you went for Valerie and you got it wrong.
No, I don't know. No, I don't.
Yeah.
No. So I'm going to say 3 out of 4.
Yeah, but I think it was quite obvious. If you want to go for a Harry, you can.
Yeah.
But I think I think he does. He epitomises the Saints player through the academy. Been for us for a while. Crafted his trade. Obviously, dead balls is now his thing. That's what he wants. And I think he has really come on.
And I think he's finally got a role in the team
identity.
now. You know what he can do. So there was always in the last couple of seasons, there was what is a Ward-Prowse? What position does he play? What does he do effectively? And now he's effective on the ball. He's a tough tackler now. He's a real box-to-box midfielder. And it's just showing his development under Hasenhüttl. It's really nice to see.
Yeah. And Valerie got Young Player of the Season as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty obvious one as well.
Yeah.
A brilliant season, breaking through. I saw him in pre-season. He got mixed in. I don't know if it was this pre-season or the one before, but I remember seeing him, and he definitely had something there. That kind of spark, the way that he was confident to take the ball out of his feet
against people.
Yeah, I think for such a young player as well, that's really nice to see. You don't get that too often. You get some that are a little bit hesitant. But that kind of confidence that he had, and the fact that we kept him, he had a good performance, and then he goes against the big boys. He goes against Man United. He scores goals like that, and I think he's come on leaps and bounds.
I said at the start of the season, I'm not going to lie, I didn't see him play that much in the under-23s, but our right-back position was up for the taking, because Cedric wasn't bad, but he wasn't nailed down top right-back. And I'm glad Valerie, when he got that chance, took it with both hands, and now I can see him being our right back for the foreseeable future until Liverpool take him.
Yeah, and I think, and I think it shows how much confidence Hasenhüttl had in him to loan out Cedric. Imagine if he had a knock in confidence, he gave away a goal, something like that, own goal, or a ban, something that could really.
Well, he got the ban, but he's
but it's the way that if he went back down in form, the fact that Hasenhüttl believed in him to come back up. Obviously shows he's very mentally strong player. Okay, so should we go on to a little squad update? We've been linked with a couple of players. We covered some of those with the questions at the start. We talked about Mitrovic a little bit. Redmond has talked about moving into that possible number 10 role. I don't know if you've seen this in the press. He's been talking about he believes he could be that number 10 in the kind of system. I don't know how well it would fall in the 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How would you feel about
that? Under Puel, he's obviously progressed a lot since the Puel days, but under Puel, he didn't really show too much playing up front or in that number 10 role. He plays so much better out wide, cutting in. I can't see. It'll really limit, for me personally, I think it'll really limit his effectiveness in the game. I want to see him on the wings trying to take it past that full-back and either putting it across the box or directly running into the box himself. I want him to stay out wide, but if he thinks he can do it, give him a go. But
I'll read you what he said. He said, if the last 6 months were an audition for me to play myself the best chance to play in the number 10 striker role, then I've given the best account of myself. If the formation is 3-4-3 or 4-2-2-2, he likes to play with number 10s and not necessarily wingers, and I can play that position, so it'll be interesting.
If he wants to, give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
The only thing is it seems like a very Theo Walcott request of he says he wants to play up front, but he's a lot more effective out wide. And I think it's a mentality thing of he's a good player and all, but I think he thinks he's a better player than he is. So you get the you get the feeling that his confidence is sky high, so why not give him a go?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see. It could be, instead of going from an 8 out of 10, it could make him a 9, 9.5. And what do you lose if he goes down in a bit of form? You put him back to where he was, and hopefully he picks back up again.
I'm just concerned because our fans seem to be very thick, or if he loses a couple of goal contributions and assist goal contributions here or there, people will get back on his back again. So I don't mind giving him a go in pre-season, but if he doesn't work out there, there'll always be a spot on the wing because he's by far our best winger at the moment.
And do you reckon, because Ward-Prowse has been playing in that middle as well, hasn't he? And that has been where he's been the most effective. I mean, I've seen him out wide in games and really got lost because you can be a lot, if you have more time on the ball, you can find those passes in the centre, whereas on the wing you are kind of you have to try and have that pace to get in behind sometimes, and you don't get that chance to have that. I know Ward-Prowse loves whipping it in, but when that ball's not dead and he's got that pressure of someone closing him down, I don't think those quality of crosses are as good. They're still good, but I think he likes that the centre of the midfield because you can play those passes in behind, take a long shot, get more time on the ball. And I think that's
if Redmond does go into that number 10 role, I think it won't be Ward-Prowse that goes into that wider or more attacking role. I think we'll either get someone new or we'll just get a different player to go there. Because like I said, I think Ward-Prowse is much better in the centre, and you don't want to change something that's clearly working for him very much. So.
Yeah. But then, will that stunt Ward-Prowse's growth? Because he's taken a while to kind of find his place in the first team. So would you trust Redmond because of form, or would you put more faith in Ward-Prowse progressing in that position?
I'd say Ward-Prowse is natural in the centre at the moment, and I think just give everyone a go where they want to play in pre-season. Not like if Fraser Force was obviously logically, and if Ralph thinks there's a chance it could work, you've got plenty of months during the pre-season. If it's logical, if there's clear technical ability to fit that role, just give him a go. I don't think Ward-Prowse's progression will halt at all. I think it'll be perfect in a central 2.
Would you? So would that be in the 4-2-2-2 that you would want to see?
If we're going to play that, because I imagine that we will.
Because for me, I don't think I'd like to lose Ward-Prowse or Redmond. I'd like them both in the team next season in a formation. So if
they'll both be in the team, but surely Ward-Prowse would be deeper, and then Redmond would be high up the pitch. But it depends. It's all about who we bring in. To be fair, it's all about who we bring in.
And obviously Ralph knows what transfers he wants to bring in and bring out. He's made it clear. I think we talked about it before. The players that he wants, who he doesn't seem to have a future. Talk about West Ham. Some of those players that were in there that obviously didn't really make an impact. I think that kind of shows it. Anything else in the squad update?
Can't think any other news that has been broken recently. I can't think of anything.
I think next week we're going to have that the players being released.
So
that could be something to talk about next week.
Okay. Should we have a look at the ex-Saints where players
sure thing. There's been quite a few things in the past couple of days, hasn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Champions League.
The amazing feeling I had watching Van Dijk bottle it at the Nou Camp was taken away.
100%.
Liverpool won 4-0 against Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then Tottenham do that comeback away at Ajax.
Yeah. I mean, to see two Newcastle midfielders looking very uninspiring to go from two different Champions League dramas, I think it really gives hope that players that aren't performing that well at the moment can actually play well. I mean, I know they're not Saints players, but or ex-Saints players, but you look at that, I think anyone in the Premier League does have the potential to be world-class, or on their day be world-class.
They wouldn't be in the Premier League if they couldn't.
Well, like Sissoko and Wijnaldum both got relegated with Newcastle.
Yeah, and then they go to perform, and both have incredible games this week. I mean, Sissoko absolutely bossing it in the midfield, and Wijnaldum speaks for itself. 2 goals in quick succession against one of the most decorated teams in Europe.
I just want to see Gazaniga lift that Champions League trophy. That's what I want to see.
Who would you rather? Would you rather see Tottenham or Liverpool win?
Tottenham, 100% Tottenham. 100% Tottenham.
I'm very much balanced in who I want to see.
Dejan Lovren lifting the Champions
No,
League.
because it's like you get Sadio Mane and Virgil van Dijk and all those ex-players lifting it, Lallana lifting it, and I'd like to see them do well as well.
But those three players you've named, I don't have particular fonts for anymore. I'm not very happy with Van Dijk.
Lallana I do, but because obviously he donated £5,000. Only because he donated £5,000 to Iron Fran. But Lovren, no. Van Dijk, no, because they both were quite unprofessional from what we saw. At least, and that's if you're going to leave in a nice way.
At least Van Dijk was class when he was here.
It's true, but then going on strike, not honouring contract, there's plenty of reasons not to be too fond.
Yeah, but that's just the game now. That's what it is. You get players not honouring contracts every year. And I think the Van Dijk one was quite touched to heart because I think he left us in a situation that was dire. And I think if he would have left like that and we were 8th place, clear of relegation, maybe battling for Europe, I don't think there would have been the same response. But I think it was because he was the leader in the dressing room and he left us when we were 19th or 18th in the league.
Something like that.
So it was a dire situation that he left us in.
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand what you're saying. But with Wanyama, he gave us an extra year when we asked him for it, and I respect that. And he didn't. He started to throw up his teddies, but then he put them back in the box
after getting sent off 3 times during the season.
Yeah, that's more of his personality. That's not him wanting to leave.
No, I'd say that was him wanting to leave.
No, I wouldn't say so. And then you got Alderweireld, who. It's not his fault that his contract. It's not his fault that Atletico Madrid's did.
Slightly. I'm sure he had a say in where he moved.
Yeah, but I think in that situation, if you hear Tottenham are calling for you, I think, and you hear the more money and things like that, I don't think he's going to turn that down.
I just wish what happened was that a bit like Benicophobe with Wolves, him going from Wolves straight to Stoke, is that because we had a contractual agreement, I think that's the word, saying that we had first dibs on buying him. I wish they honoured that and we bought him. Atletico Madrid, that is, we bought him and then sold him straight to Tottenham.
Yeah,
because I think that would have made things so much better.
And we got compensation for it. Yeah, but it's like a small add-on, really.
It's nothing.
I think it's a couple of million
for a player that we didn't even own.
Yeah, and he's gone on to show his class. So if we talk about the actual Tottenham game, you've got obviously a lot of ex-Saints in there. You've got Alderweireld at the back. Wanyama obviously started on the bench as well. You've got Gazzaniga. Obviously, Pochettino's managing.
I would like to see Poch win it.
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, I think he definitely proves. I think the fact is it would really send a message if he hasn't spent anything in this transfer window, just on man management.
Lost his best player.
Harry Kane, and turned it around and still got a trophy out of it. I think that would have been...
Especially the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely. Best team in Europe.
He's just a classy manager as well. You see at the end of the game, he could have sprinted on the pitch and just go mental, but he went to the Ajax manager almost instantly after shook his hand. And then it was a few months ago, I think quite a few people missed this, where it was against Tranmere and they were just smashing them to pieces, and he still subbed on Harry Kane, risking an injury, because he said that the Tranmere fans will never see a player like Harry Kane's quality at the Tranmere Stadium.
Yeah.
So I think he's a very classy manager.
Although I heard something in a press conference which was quite interesting. I don't know if you heard about this, but he said after the Ajax, someone asked him about lifting up the trophy. Would that be the end? Would that be a perfect way to finish your career at Tottenham? And he said, I've had 5 chapters at Tottenham, and a Champions League would be the perfect way to go. So it may be that once he's built that new stadium, that legacy, that team, and won that Champions League, maybe he might move on to another challenge.
I think with quite a lot of things that he said, not recently, but over the season, I think that's a bit of lost in translation. I think a lot of that's like, this will be just emphasising how crazy the achievement would be. Like, how have we won the Champions League when we've not bought anyone and all of that? I don't think he'll leave, because I think there's still a lot of things that he could do at Tottenham. But imagine if he left and went straight to Manchester United.
I mean, that would be incredible.
That would be
probably the worst decision that he would make in a career.
Yeah.
To Man United, the state that they're in right now.
I don't think he will, but it'd be crazy if he did.
Yeah, and then obviously we talked about Liverpool, countless Liverpool players there. That comeback against Barcelona, although I was quite disappointed to see how mentally weak that Barcelona side was. I think that was quite sad to see.
I mean, you've got world-class players who've won Champions League before, not looking at the ball from a corner.
Yeah.
You don't turn your back on the ball. You never turn your back on the ball.
Exactly.
And all 11 Barcelona players turn their back on the ball. And it was quick thinking from Trent, quick thinking
fantastic.
from the ball boy. The ball boy, man of the match at that game.
That was incredible.
Fantastic throw to Trent. And then, how the hell is the final going to be Llorente against Origi?
That's what I was saying.
It's going to be incredible to watch the class up front.
Yeah, finally the other one is Tadic with Ajax.
That's
a valiant performance, however, when it came down to the final minutes and the nerve, it didn't quite happen.
There was 2 minutes.
Very Southampton about
yeah. Before you think Tadic turned around and gone, God, well, I'm left to do exactly the same thing.
There's 2 minutes left in the game, in stoppage time, and he went for a curling shot that went wide. If he just kept that ball, if Ajax just put that ball in the corner,
did a Charlie
they would have won the game. If Onana didn't take so long to take that free kick and the referee added that extra time in, they would have won that game. It wasn't. I'm not saying it's all their fault they lost, but there's certainly a couple of elements.
They had chances as well, didn't they? They had post several times, but Tottenham cleared it off the line. The other way around as well. That save from
Norris.
I'm thinking the other end, the one where Llorente. The ball comes down and he just passes it straight down the middle. You think if he angles that an inch towards to the left, but that's in. The
goal came from that. You look at the poor goalkeeping, the poor communication. Like that save is amazing. But he tried to jump on it.
Oh yeah,
and he missed the ball because the centre back ran into him.
Yeah,
and then the defending is horrendous. Like Lucas Moura has about 6 Ajax players around him, managed to get the ball out of his feet and puts it just through the legs of a defender into the back of the net.
It's true.
It's an incredible piece of skill, but it's awful defending from Ajax.
It's just that lack of experience really with that Ajax team. That everyone's quite young, and Daley Blind, who's older, isn't very good. to be honest, so it's about that inexperience. I just feel sorry for them now that their team's going to get absolutely ripped to shreds in that summer transfer window.
It's going to be Monaco all over again, isn't it?
It's exactly the same as Monaco because they got to the semi-final a couple of years ago, like she says.
And then Mbappe, Bakayoko.
They got semi-final, lost in the semi-final because of their lack of experience, and they then realised they could finally do something. It got overhyped.
But it's really nice to see that football, like progressive total football, has actually done them well, and it's not. You see football that's not very exciting. That gets results. You see Man United's reign under Mourinho still got them results under not very nice football, but to actually see a good team being rewarded for playing good football is nice to see, and that connection with fans as well. I think it's a really good thing for football, and that's why I would love them to go to the final, but wasn't to be.
Finally, Pellegrino, new contract. He got a new contract at Leganes. I think they're 8th in the table, almost pushing for that Europa League spot.
Some managers just fit the league, don't they? And I think you have that with Puel in Ligue 1, and then you get, Pellegrino. He should just stick in Spain now because he's done a really good job with
Alaves.
Was it? Alaves, and then the team that he is now. Well. I don't know.
But they have pulled off some good results this year, haven't they?
That's the thing, because of the way that Pellegrino plays the defensive football, because there's not as much quality in the lower part of the Spanish division than this in the Premier League. You don't get those moments of class or the lapse of concentration from a Jack Stevens, something like that. So you do one to just you find your way, and hopefully he does stay in Spain. I do wish luck to him because you want him to see see him do well, and
I think it was just frustrating for the fans, but
So he was a nice guy that wasn't very good at managing our club. So for that reason, I hope he does well.
But then you don't want to see people fail because obviously he's got Southampton on his CV now. You want him to go on, do well, and just see Southampton as a little blip, but it's still there.
That's what I mean. Like if he was a bad, annoying, horrendous person, then I'd be like, I wouldn't really mind if he succeeded or failed. But he seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
For that reason, same with Puel. Really, although I said thank you for your services to us and good luck in the future, I still wanted Puel to succeed to an extent because he didn't do bad for us. Looking on just paper, 8th cup final, it's a good season.
Yeah, and I always wonder, was he being conservative to try and build next season? That was my thinking. Or I think the one thing that let him down was his frustration with communicating to the fans. If he said, just stick with me and then we can do my season next season.
Well, I think also he got very unlucky with the fact that Van Dijk got injured.
Yeah.
You saw Van Dijk is a world-class player, and when you lose him from the back four and you replace him with a Jack Stevens and a Mario Yoshida, it sounds like I'm going in on Jack Stevens. I really like Jack Stevens.
And we almost won the league.
Apparently he's a really nice guy as well. People I've spoken to, around, seen him around, he's a really nice guy.
But Van Dijk's Jack Stevens, that is a little gap.
Yeah.
And that's why he went more defensive. That's why he couldn't play like better attacking football. So you just got left. I mean, he still did a job with them. He still got results with them.
Yeah. So I think with a Van Dijk injury away from winning that final, but that's a story for a different day.
We were at different linesmen away from winning. Anyway, not bitter. Next section.
Not that.
Next section.
So, shall the quiz that I did at the start?
Yeah.
I can't remember the order.
It's like
I gave you
Redmond, Long, Ward-Prowse, Austin.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's exactly right.
Exactly, yeah.
I think Harry had it the other way around with
Ward-Prowse and Long.
Ward-Prowse and
Right, so
Long.
what was the order?
So Austin has 6 goals and assists combined. I don't know the actual breakup. I've just done them together.
That's right.
Then it's James Ward-Prowse who's got 7 goals, no assists, I believe. He hasn't actually got assists, he's got 7 goals.
Such a good
Shane
quarter.
Long has got 8 goals and assists.
8.
Goals and assists, not just goals and assists. And then
goals and
Redmond has got 14 goals and assists.
Fair.
So yeah, Mikey.
I'll win the quiz next week.
Okay, I'll do a different one. I'll see if I can find.
Oh yeah, no, do the same one and we just do it on repeat.
Well, what I mean is, I won't do goals and assists.
To be fair, I'll forget by then.
So I won't do goals and assists. I'll do like cards or something.
We're going to play a game of Uno.
Then you would have Romeo at the top there, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Okay. So that's been the second episode of the SaintsPrime Podcast. If you have enjoyed, make sure you like it, subscribe it. Harry, what else do they need to do?
Hit that notification
bell. If you want to answer any questions like we did at the start today, Harry, how are we going to do that?
Wednesdays, I'll put a post out on the SaintsPrime story. Statements, questions, as long as it's PG, we'll probably read it out.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, PG.
Keep them keen. So I've been OllIe,
Harry,
and
Mikey.
Brilliant. So we'll see you next time.